All right, Joe 200, what's up? Okay, summer 2024, pretty wild. All right, so this is the lecture on Module 3. So the other two lectures were a bit longer, a bit thicker in content, because they're really setting the stage for not only what's happening in our country, but globally, and segregating the different regions, which ones are more developed or advanced, and then which ones are still developing and suffering from a lot of problems, growing pains in terms of having to deal with the shifting, we call it demographics, which is just the age structure, and where there's this issue with fewer and fewer babies being born and more people living longer, and what that means to society. All right, so we're going to today go over a real simple analysis of looking at kind of the sociological impact of having these different generations and seeing how society changes with each generation. When I was growing up, I'm at the tail end of the baby boomers, but there were a ton of us. My dad was from the quote unquote silent generation, also called the greatest generation because of what they went through with World War II. And then they came home and they made a lot of babies, and then consequently society had to adapt. Okay, so and when I was growing up, there weren't enough grade schools. They were building schools and building high schools. When I was growing up, that's when we had the Cal State University system expand to deal with all the people going through the system. That's when the University of California system expanded because they had to adapt for all the new baby boomers that were going to be going to college. Okay, and the same drill is now happening. Okay, is we now have to, as a society, adapt to the imbalance or the new balance that is having a lot more older people and fewer young people to support them, right? So, and it's not only time in terms of caregiving that we learned last time, but it's money. Everything costs. Okay, so you got to, in terms of infrastructure and building and seeding the society to deal with it, you have to change the economy. Make it a better deal to work in assisted living, get more government support so that people are paid better with assisted living, improve pension systems, on and on and on. And this is what all the countries are grappling with, right? Just today, I was looking, Wall Street Journal had an article just about how worldwide the issue of the reduced fertility and what it's doing to the workings of every country is paramount. It's a huge deal. Okay, all righty. So just to let you know, this is not on us. Glitches in that exist in Brightspace, we're working with them. When you hit View All Work, you'll see that it just pops up, and boom, it says page not found. So I'm looking in Student View right now. When we go in Instructor View, we do see it. Okay, so it is what it is. Okay. All right, so I just hit the backwards profile. If you're new to the class, watch this right here. This is the video that tells you how to navigate the course and how to get an A, okay? This thing right here is being populated with the due dates, but again, it's a little glitchy, and Julie's actually talking to people from Brightspace. It would be better if it was 1, 2, 3, and not all kind of shuffled like a deck of cards. All right, so anyways, all right, so we did that already. That was just me having sticky fingers. Okay, all righty, so let's just go right into module 3, and if you want to do some social media, probably none of you will, but this is its own very social media. It's an activity feed that you can comment. All right, I already did see a couple of you posted, which was awesome. And if you want to see what that looks like, why not? Okay, I promise you I'll be fast on this one. So we're going to just go right into module 1. Okay, and as I scroll down here, I went into the discussion board. This was introducing myself, and then some of you guys were introducing yourselves as well. Okay, so again, here's the prompt when you hit the discussion board, and then I scroll down. There they are. They're outside terrorizing right now. You should see them. And then here's a couple people. All right, so here's Annie and here's Abdullah. Okay, so how cool is this that you could be anywhere in the world? So I don't know if Annie is in Hong Kong. She might be, and Abdullah could be in Saudi Arabia right now, but you're still able to do the class. Okay, hey, look, somebody posted right here. Let me take a look. So I'm going to go right in here. It says by John Walsh. So I'm going to check this out. Okay, And here's what everything that Abdullah had to say. He did say he's wants to pursue a JD and MD, and then I commented right here. Okay, so so that's what you can say. You do reply to thread, and then up it comes. Okay, and you can reply to me as well right in here. Okay, so I'm stoked to have Abdullah on board. He could be in Saudi Arabia and take this class, and just letting them know, truly. She graduated top three of her class, number three in her class, 250 students at USC Law School. A while back, 1993, she worked for the biggest law firm in California for years, and she then became managing counsel for a 10,000 employee company. This is the Automobile Club of Southern California. Life transitions. You know, she stepped away because she got leukemia. Um, Also had time to spend with her two boys, who were that time 2 and 7, and then she came back 11 years ago and started teaching law classes at USC with me, which is awesome. All right, so that's the drill on that. All right, so let's just go back. We can just go straight to content. How's that sound? Okay. All right, and so right here is the taskbar, okay, on the left-hand side. And so we're going to go straight into generations, which is super cool. You can let in the doggies, but they're going to be all muddy. My dogs are nuts, okay? Alrighty, so this video is going to go right in here. Here's a reading assignment. It's a good idea to open up the browser separately, so you could have two windows for the same browser, two different browsers, whatever it is, and then you can open the quiz with just 5 questions, and then just kind of answer it as you're going through the readings. And then this is the discussion board right here that is tied to the assignment, and we'll go right into that, all right? All righty, so here it is, my friends. So we give you some background. All right, we have 3 relatively recent articles. We're always waiting for I like this topic, so we're waiting for the Pew Foundation, and that's where these articles came from. It's a Pew Foundation is a think tank, okay? So if you're ever thinking about doing this kind of work, it's a great place to apply for a job. Um, and they look at social trends, and from the social trends, they make predictions, okay, about what has to be done. This is what what the world does, okay, and so the first thing that we had to grapple with each generation, as indicated here, we had to actually define our generations, okay. So let's take a look right here, all right. What we always do, just in case the link breaks down, we do have a PDF file, okay. All right, so these are redundant, but it's only if the link doesn't work for you. Right, so we're going to go right into the link right here. All right, and we're going to define our generations. All right. So my phone's going off. Guess what? We're flying to Costa Rica today, so the students are getting kind of nervous. Okay. Alrighty, so there was like, what do we call you guys? Okay, just like the new guys. Okay, your little brothers and sisters. Okay, that started around 2010. So they're 14ish. They're Gen Alphas, but we had to figure out what we're going to call you. And there were the millennials, the baby boomers, the silent generation. All right, Gen X. Okay, nobody even knows who they are. Okay, they were lost in the shuffle. And then the millennials. Okay, so it's really it's it's my parents, silent generation, or the greatest generation, the baby boomers. Okay, we then had Gen X. Okay, then we have millennials, and then you guys came along, and whoosh, then the question is, you're just looking in social media and stuff like that, and what are they being referred to? People are calling you post millennials. People are calling you the I generation, but what really stuck was Generation Z, which is you, okay? And so that's what you're called, okay? So then we come down here and we're looking at, we have to bracket this, okay? So that when we're talking the same language, all right? So we see right here, the silent generation, my parents, baby boomers, me. I was born in 1956, okay? And Julie was born in 1962, all right? So we're right in here. We're boomers. We're at the the later end, okay? Here's the Gen Xers. Who are these people, okay? The millennials and you guys, okay? And then Gen Alpha would be right up here, all right? All right, so that's what that's all about. That's how it's, you can read through this short article, but that's how we came up with this, okay? Awesome, okay? So then you look at, we've defined these groups, okay? Now let's ask ourselves about some of the trends, okay? So that's what this is right here, all right? Again, you can have your quiz open, you can look at it. And so these are some of the defining trends. So this is done in 2018. It's time for another article on this, but the defining generations of these trends, okay? First of all, because of population momentum, meaning, we had 2 kids, all right? So, so at that time, about, on average, there'd be 2.5 kids. We get immigration. And what happens to boomers? They die off. So millennials were outnumbering the boomers, and this was in 2018. So this was a big transition, all right? Not by much, but it was true. This is a big one right here, and you guys are all experiencing this. And this is, again, data is a 2018 article, so you gather data to look backwards a little bit here. But we see what the percentage of the population that is living in multi-generation households. This is culturally something that is still done worldwide, but for some reason, in the United States, we kind of lost our way with that. And when the expectation is, I'm going to go to college and I'm moving out, I'm never coming back. Or I'm going to go to high school and I'm going to move out and I'm never coming back. Okay. And so we can see, right, like me, so I graduated high school in 74, and the number of people that were living in multi-gen houses was, 10, 12% right here. Okay. I'll tell you right now, when I turned 18 and went to UC Irvine, that was it. I never moved back home. It was affordable. We could do that. Of course, I had roommates and all that stuff, but it was affordable. I was living down in Newport and Huntington Beach, and with roommates, it was totally doable. Okay. All right, and then we see what's happening here. The trend is continuing like this. So now we're up here approaching 30% of people are back living at home after college. My 2 kids they're working, saving their money so they can afford housing. That's something we're going to speak to later on because housing affordability is so impossible. That's a percentile basis. These are the raw numbers right now, and you see millions and millions of Americans that are living on multi-generation households. Okay, when you have 64 million, it's the grandmas, the parents, and the kids. So that reflects what's going on. Remember, we have about 333 million people in our country. All right. All righty. What's the other trend? You guys don't get married, all right? So half of you, the adults, are married today, okay? So this is looking at 18 and older, okay? Back in the day, people got married. Now, not so much, okay? You can hear my dogs. They're going crazy up and down the stairs because they can't figure out what we're doing. We're packing, all right? So after huge declines, okay, family size was ticking up, but sadly, it's going back down again, all right? It all has to do with economics, believe me. So the other thing is immigration, all right? So trends are going to change based on where there is political strife, okay? So we had a huge uptick in immigration from the Ukraine this last 2 years, a huge uptick in immigration from Sudan. So they've always had political strife, and there's more strife there. So whenever you're having, and remember, Syria was out of control, and so this is when people have to flee the war-torn regions of the world, and then immigration increases, not only for us, but worldwide, okay? And these are, interesting trends because, of course, as a country, as a community, you have to adapt, okay? The composition is always going to change, okay, depending on the countries that are having the trouble, okay? And so we saw big changes in our religious composition of who was immigrating to the United States, okay? We saw in 2017, most of the people were coming from the Middle East and from Africa. It's obviously it's going to change based on immigration policies that are set forth by the federal government. We're trying to lock down on the border, and depending on who is the president, they put limitations on which cultural group is trying to get in. All righty. Bottom line is international arrivals were rising and rising and rising. Okay, and while on the surface, wow, this is a problem, but realistically, at a business level, immigrants are needed to make businesses run. Okay, so Florida put the screws on immigrants. Okay, and we're really checking them, and people that were in the state illegally, they skedaddled, they left, and suddenly Florida has nothing but problems in terms of their agricultural industry because it was cheap labor, okay, that Americans weren't willing to do, and immigrants were, okay. The same thing happened in Georgia. They're the Georgia peach, okay, so it's the real deal. They have peach groves, peach tree grows everywhere, and suddenly they're experiencing enormous losses because the fruit is dying on the trees because they don't have enough people to get at it. All right. We all like going out to restaurants, okay? Really low wage, nobody wants to do it. We all like clean hotel rooms, really low wage, nobody likes to do it, on and on and on and on. So this is where the immigrant workforce is super important, okay? Awesome. Okay, so that's what that's all about right there. Told you this was going to be a quick lecture, all right? And then we come down here, and this is just kind of a fun, interactive website that is within the Pew Foundation. Let's check it out, okay? So it's a way to kind of look at trends, okay? And we're going to do it again across all the different defined generations, the silent or greatest generation, people that were in World War II, okay? Boomers, okay, so it's defining when they were born, okay, at this, right, in 2017, what their ages were, okay, so we can add 7 years to this, okay, in 2024. And so we can look at, for example, race and ethnicity and what the status. So back in the day, this generation was dominated by white people, okay? Immigration happens, okay? And we see more and more and more immigrants, okay, going through the pipeline here. They don't have Gen Z in here in this particular graphic, okay? So we see this, okay? So you see this broader spread, a diversification of America in terms of our race and ethnicity. How about marriage? We go like that, okay, in 2017, all right? So this shows you the spread of marriage. Now, remember that we're going to see down here, my parents' generation, these guys would be in their 90s now, okay? So we're going to see a lot more widowed people, okay? And but fewer people that were never married. Look right here. This is that trend. People aren't getting married. Okay. Now these guys right here, 21 to 36 years of age, and they're in there's a movement. Nobody's getting married. Okay. Add 7 years, now they're 42 and they're still not married. Okay. So this is a big deal. Okay. Male education. Okay. We see that there has been an increase. Okay. In let me go backwards here. There's been a decrease in the number of people that have less than 9th grade education, okay? Here's high school. They're limited their education, okay? High school diploma, all right? It's cruising. We see that there's been this increase here with at least some college education. And then bachelor's was a privilege. Female education, this is striking, okay? So we see right there that your generation, which would be up here, and the millennials up here, there's more and more people have college education. Fewer and fewer women, this is women, okay, were not educated as we see that they were back in my parents' generation, okay? All righty, male labor force, okay, so dominated here. Now, obviously, very few people are working here. What we can do is look at when they were young, okay, and see it pops up. This is when they were 21 to 36. You see men dominated the scene here in terms of the way of the labor force. And then if you go to 2017, this shows you everybody's that are retiring, okay? All right, let's check that out. Now, the real important thing is to compare that to women, okay? And we see that fewer women are working here, okay? When they were younger, you see women just didn't work back in my parents' day, okay? My mom did, okay, which was awesome after the kids got older, okay? So when we went to high school, my mom worked, okay? But we see right here, sadly, I think, the female participation in labor force still lags behind, and it shouldn't be that way, all right? So you can see how that works right there. So the female labor force lags behind. Household incomes, okay? So it's 2017, okay? And when they were younger, oh, sorry, that's when they were younger, okay? 2017, right there, okay? So they don't have the data on the silence, okay? There we go. So it hasn't changed that much, sadly, okay? All right, veteran status, we know there's a drill on here, World War II, okay? Boomers, Vietnam, okay? Gen Xers and millennials, okay? Do you live in an urban environment, okay? 2017, how about when they were younger? So you see that there is this migration by earlier generations into the cities. You can see that right there, okay? And then this is the population, okay, of people when they were younger, 2017, people are dying off, okay, all right? Boom. And see this boomers, okay, there's a lot more of us, and we'll start dying off like that as well. So that's what that's all about, okay? This is another way to look at it graphically, all right? And we see that uh, excuse me, right here. The education status, okay, is going up and up and up for women and men, okay. So this is number of people that have, percentage of people that have gotten their bachelor's degree, and we see this skyrocketing. What you see here is suddenly women are outnumbering men in terms of getting their bachelor's degree, all right. And then this is way back in the day where it was an oddity for my parents, okay, and about equal right here for my generation, okay? This is the defining of the generations. We already looked at that, okay, in the previous one, and it goes over the analysis there. So that's it, my friends, okay? So that's the details of the readings from Module 3. We can come back in here, then we kind of set the stage now. And multi-gen homes, housing, okay? This is a really cool graphic right here. There it is, your little brothers and sisters, okay? And so we come down here, we look at the discussion, okay? And so what's happening, and basically I review right in here, is we are living much, much longer, which means we're not passing along your inheritance, okay? I still got to finance this thing, okay? If I died, my kids would split the assets in two and they'd be off and running, okay? But those assets are kind of frozen, right? Yes, we can give you gift checks, but it's a whole different game from me signing a check to you for $10,000, $15,000 and you inheriting $2 million, okay? So that's a big problem, okay? The other thing that happens is housing values have increased, and they're not matched by salaries, okay? So the end result is there's a huge slump, okay, in terms of subsequent generations in terms of home ownership, okay? So this shows you right here, looking at the baby boomers by 2019, 50% of people own the real estate, which is kind of crazy because there's a lot of old people, 50%, that don't own any real estate at all. When you say own, you either own it outright or you own it and are still paying your mortgage, okay? You see that Gen X right here, you look at the difference between us and them. You know, here I am at, almost 50% right here when I was 50, okay? But a Gen X projected when they're 50 years age, only 25% will own homes. That's going to be an issue because this is your assets to pay forward in terms of all the issues that happen when you get older. One of the, you may not have good retirement, you may not have great Social Security, but if you own a home, you can do what's called a reverse mortgage, and you can peel off the value of the home to pay for expenses. That's going to be the issue here. And you see millennials, here they are at 30 years of age, out here now, their percent ownership is horrible, maybe 5-6%, whereas here we are, baby boomers, 35 right there, okay? So that's an issue. So I owned a condo, when I was 35 years of age. So that's a big issue for you guys. Something to think about. This is from 2022. I'm gonna have to get the new graphic from for 2024, okay? But this was in Orange County right here. California housing, no, this is actually California households, not Orange County. But you see right here, the median, we can stack up every house that is for sale and look at it. And we say we had 100 houses for sale, we look at 101, and we look at number 50 and say, this is from the least expensive to the most expensive. How expensive is it? And the median house price is almost 900 grand, okay? That's gone up, okay? It's past 900 grand now. It's insanity, okay? This is the ability to afford to pay for a house like this for the entire population of California, and only 16% can do that. And it's called the Housing Affordability Index, okay? And what do we see here? Okay, we see this trend. This is 2021, and this is 2022. It dropped significantly, okay? Jobs are not keeping up with the cost of living. That's a huge problem. We have inflation, but also, housing prices are out of control. This house we bought for $435,000. Okay, I barely got into it. Julie was an attorney. I was a professor, but we got in. It's now worth $2.7 million. There's no way my current salary would even come close to qualifying to afford this house. So, and that's what the legacy that we live, you guys. Okay, so right now, okay. In order to make monthly payments of about $5,000 a year, okay, a 30-year fixed mortgage, okay, for this median household, you have to be making over 200 grand a year, and that's what this is. And you see right here again, from 2021 to 2022, how much more money you had to be making to be able to afford housing. Sorry, guys, it's a big issue. Okay, alrighty, so if you want more detail, just an amazing analysis of housing, okay, but looking at the issues that are being found now by older people that didn't get in, that didn't have the income. So it's all great to be, to be rich, because rich people get great, nice things, but not all of us are rich. We're talking about the 1%. What about all the other people that are renting, okay, roommates, and they're 60, 70, 80 years of age, okay? That's the issue, and that's what is gotten into here, okay? So we can look right here. It's a graphic, okay? We're looking at the burden of housing for people that are 65 and older, okay? And we're looking at millions of people right here, okay? And then we look down here, okay? Owners without a mortgage, okay? That's a luxury, okay? And we see that this has been pretty constant from 2001 to 2017, okay? We see right here, this would be owners, but you're still paying off a mortgage, okay? So people refinance, okay, we refinance, so we should be owning our house right now, but we don't, okay? And we don't owe a whole lot, so it's great. Our mortgage rate is 2.2%, so it's like making money right now. And we owe about $200,000 on this place, okay? So this is a growing population right here, okay? And then the even more frightening population is this is all the renters, okay? 65 and older, okay? And it just goes up and up and up and up with time. And so we'd be out here in terms of the percentage of Americans, and this probably would be flatlining right here. All right, so what does that mean? Okay, we can look at the number of older adults that are living alone is projected to continue to increase, okay? This is 2018, all right? This is 2020, this is in 2038 by age group. So this percentage, 2% are living alone, and you start seeing this trend of upward trend of people living alone. People become widowers, okay? And so this is what has to be done. What can we do to help these people out? All right, my friends. So that's everything. Get in there, okay, and look at this housing, okay. I want you guys to do a quick read on all this, okay. I want you in the end, if we look at all this, you come scrolling back up here. And in your discussion, I want you to talk about this thing about multi-gen housing, and really in your discussion about what you're feeling about the lack of affordability, what's happening to your generation in terms of the American dream. All right, my friends. Peace. We'll see you next time.